Okay, hi everyone. This is just an algebraic expression and it's called a fraction or a quotient. The nice thing about this fraction is that we only have one term in our denominator. So if you only look at your denominator, you can see it's only one term, negative 5ab. And in your numerator, you have numerous terms. There are three terms. If you just look at your numerator, we have three terms there. So we can't simplify the numerator because there's no like terms. So what we need to do is we need to break this fraction up into three separate fractions, but we must be careful with our signs. So let's do that. The first one will be negative 10a cubed b squared over negative 5ab. So what we're doing is we're just breaking it up into separate fractions, but remember that the denominator is negative 5ab, so it must always be in the denominator. Then we have a positive. Now that positive must come in between the fractions. Then we have 20ab squared over negative 5ab. Even though we have a sign there, we must still put the negative with the denominator. Then we have a negative, so this negative is referring to that negative. Then we have 5ab over negative 5ab. Now, we need to sort out our signs here, because there we have a positive and a negative, there we have a negative and a negative. And what we can also see, as we're simplifying all the signs, we see a negative and a negative there, and a negative divided with a negative is a positive. So let's just write that, let's just leave out the negatives because it's a positive. So 10a cubed b squared over 5ab, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I'm not writing anything there, it must be positive. Now we have a positive and a negative. So what you can do, you can take this negative, write it in front here, then you have a positive and a negative, it will result in a negative, and then there won't be any sign here with your denominator anymore, because we simplified it now. It's a negative, and now everything is simplified, so that negative isn't there anymore. So we have 20ab squared over 5ab. Now we have a negative and a negative. That will give us a positive, so we write the positive there. Then we have 5ab over 5ab. Right, and now we can simplify. So what can we say? 5 can go into 10, yes. So it will go into 10 twice. There's 1a at the bottom, so the 1a will cancel with 1 at the top, so there will be 2 a's left. There's 1b at the bottom, so it will cancel with 1b at the top, so there will be 1b left. Then 5 goes into 24 times. The a will cancel with the a, they are the same. And there's a 1b that will cancel with one of the b, so there will be 1b left. And 5ab over 5ab, that is just 1 over 1. If you divide the same thing with each other, it's just 1. It's like saying 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, so then we are left with, we are not left with any fractions because there's nothing left in the denominators. Can you see that? Except 1. But if you divide something with 1, you don't have to write it as a fraction. So we're just going to say it's going to be 2a squared b, because that's what's left of the first fraction. Then we subtract, and we have 4b. That's the only thing that's left from the second fraction. And then we plus 1, because that amounts to 1. There's no like terms there, so you can't simplify it. So that is your final answer. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.